Right, good afternoon, Queensland. We've just had our meeting of our Queensland Disaster Management Committee meeting where we've had the mayors and the relevant ministers and all of the departments online, and we're very comfortable with the preparation that is now in place for Tropical Cyclone Kimi. Tropical Cyclone Kimi has intensified and changed course, so it is now a Category 2. But of course cyclones are unpredictable, so it is still likely that she could cross the coast somewhere between Innisfail and Bowen, but we are going to be keeping you updated every 3 hours from the Bureau, and we will be convening another Queensland Disaster Management Committee meeting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m, so we'll be able to provide further updates. And of course, we know that our residents in North Queensland know how to prepare for these events, and they are well prepared because we had the mayors online, and can I congratulate the mayors and the local management committees that they chair. All of the preparations are in place. There's going to be a lot of rainfall, so of course the key message here is if it's flooded, forget it. If you don't need to be on the roads tonight, don't be on the roads tonight. And similarly, down here in the southeast, there's also going to be storms this evening in the next couple of hours. There's going to be a lot of rainfall, anywhere between 50 to 100 millimetres. So once again, a lot of rainfall in the southeast as well. And please, if you don't need to be on the roads, don't during this time. So now's the time, especially in the north, to put away any loose items. Make sure that you have your cyclone preparation kits, and we've done pre-deployments of SES, police, and there are also 2 winch helicopters, one based in Cairns and one based in Townsville, ready to be deployed if at all required. And also too, keep this number handy, 132500, that's for the SES, and already the SES has had about 80 localised jobs around the Cairns region, mainly with leaky roofs. So keep listening to emergency services, keep listening to the media outlets, and of course the Bureau will be providing those regular updates every 3 hours. So stay safe, Queensland. We've done this before. I know that we can all do this again together, and let's keep an eye on one another and make sure that you look after your family and your friends during this time and check on loved ones. So I'll hand over to Laura from the Bureau to give further information.
Okay, thanks Premier. So Tropical Cyclone Kimi is currently located east of Innisfail. The system has been steadily intensifying throughout today, and as of 2 p.m, it was a Category 2 system. As it moves further south, it is moving into an environment that isn't favourable for development, so we are expecting it to begin weakening from either this evening or tomorrow. So the 2 p.m. issue of the track map did see a change in what we were expecting the cyclone to do, and the latest guide from the Bureau now no longer has Kimi crossing the coast, but it does have it sort of meandering in the ocean, weakening as it moves south and then looping back and continuing to weaken as it then moves north up the coast as a low pressure system. The uncertainty is high with Tropical Cyclone Kimi, and that's because it's a really small system and the environmental winds are quite light. So while we have that, we have the uncertainty that is high, there still remains a distinct possibility of Kimi crossing the coast as a Category 2 system, and that's in the warning areas. So the most likely scenario is what we have on our track maps. However, we're not ruling out a crossing of Category 2 because there is such a high uncertainty with this system. So the Bureau is closely monitoring this system, and as it does change, we will be continuing to update the community and emergency services. I'll touch quickly on the impacts of Tropical Cyclone Kimi. The most noted ones are the rainfall and then the winds as well. So Tropical Cyclone Kimi brings the risk of heavy rainfall for the northeast tropics for the next couple of days, which could lead to localised flash flooding. And there is also the risk of riverine flooding. So it is noted that a flood watch is current for the north tropical coast between Cape Flattery and Ingham. And the catchments are already quite wet, so they're likely to respond quite rapidly to any further rainfall. Moving on to the winds, we are expecting destructive winds with gusts of up to 130 kilometres per hour associated with Tropical Cyclone Kimi. And we also have gales with gusts of up to 120 kilometres per hour, which are likely about coastal and island communities between Innisfail and Ayr. And that's for tonight and going on into tomorrow as well. So in terms of our warnings, I mentioned we already have a flood watch, but then we also have our cyclone warnings. So we have cancelled the warning between Port Douglas to Innisfail, and that includes Cairns, as the focus of TC Kimi moves south. So our current warning zone is now Innisfail to Ayr, and that includes the communities of Lucinda, Palm Island and Townsville. And then further south, we also have a watch out for Ayr to Bowen. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister?
So just reinforcing some of those messages, and the thing about cyclones is they're always unpredictable, but this particular cyclone is unusually unpredictable. We're seeing it's changing its track every 3 hours or so. So that means everyone needs to be prepared who's in that watch zone. There is something predictable about cyclones, and that is the damage and the risk that they bring. So anyone in that watch zone, you need to be prepared for destructive winds up to 150 kilometres an hour, heavy rain, and particularly in these catchment areas where we know that the catchment area is saturated and that they are damp. That could lead to flash flooding. That could lead to riverine flooding. And the other thing is, if you're in those tidal coastal areas, know that there will be high tides as well in those watch zone areas. So please prepare. There are a number of things to do. People who are Queenslanders know that when cyclones are coming, you need to get ready. Prepare, be ready, plan ahead. A cyclone's on its way. Prepare as if it's coming towards your community and be ready.
Minister, State Disaster Coordinator. Thanks.
Sorry, Minister. Thank you. And you're hearing consistent messaging because it's important. And what's important, as you've heard, is that cyclones are very dangerous things. The winds and the floods associated with cyclones are very dangerous. Our first and foremost priority is to make sure that no one loses their life and no one gets hurt. So the messaging is very much to the community to make sure that they are prepared and they stay connected, because as the Minister and the Premier have said, this is quite unpredictable, the way that this cyclone is behaving, and it's likely to keep changing. So please stay connected, listen to the messaging. The preparations are good. All of the agencies in the north are connected and are communicating. Everything's being done so that if anything does go untoward up there, that we can recover as quickly as possible. But the best decisions that have to be made are those made by the people in the community up there. And can I remind everyone, as the final comment, that please remember this is still in a COVID response environment, and people need to make sure that they practice COVID safety when they're engaged in these things. Cyclones, storms and the like are not excuse to stop doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Yep, sure.
In terms of Townsville, how likely is it, do you think, that the rest of the dam will start to fill up more with those low catchments?
So in terms of dam levels, that's something I really can't comment on. That would be more for a dam operator. But I can talk generally about the rainfall for Townsville. And it's a tricky one because, like I was saying, there is a lot of uncertainty associated with this system. So where the sort of bullseye of that rainfall may fall is changing a little bit. So we are not as confident as the amounts that Townsville might see, but they are in an area that will experience some rainfall from the system. It's just how much and how intense that is will depend so heavily on the track of this cyclone.
And Laura, can I just ask a bit more about the storms hitting the southeast this afternoon? Can you just talk us through what kind of rainfall, winds, hail, that type of thing that we can expect locally?
Absolutely. So we do have some severe thunderstorms occurring today in the southeast, and while a lot of attention is on Kimi, they are still very dangerous and worth being aware of. So I'm encouraging people of Brisbane, southeast areas, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, to be aware of the storm situation. So severe storms, we're looking at large hail, destructive winds, and also heavy or intense rainfall that may lead to flash flooding. So we'll be continuing to issue warnings. The latest guidance I heard from our forecasters is that these could push right into the evening, into the early hours of the morning. So quite a long event for a storm in this area.
When do we expect the system to peak in terms of Kimi?
Yeah, so in terms of the intensification of Kimi, so as it does move further south, we are expecting it to weaken. So I would say that the intensity is occurring now or within the next sort of 12-hour period, and then as it does continue to move further south, it moves into a quite an unfavourable environment, and it is also very close to land, which can also weaken tropical cyclones. So as it continues to move south, it will continue to weaken until it moves into a low pressure system.
Okay. All right, thanks everyone.
Premier, just on the resources that have been deployed to North Queensland.
Yes.
How many extra resources have come from Brisbane heading up north?
Look, I don't have those details on me, but I was very satisfied that there's enough police in the districts, there's enough SES, extra SES resources were initially deployed up to Cairns in the north, and they've been moved further south as needed. So I'm very comfortable with the resources that they have there, plus those helicopters if needed. Okay, we'll see everyone tomorrow. Stay safe, Queensland.
Oh, yeah, we get, you get yours ready and we can just walk it over. He's gonna send out the head on the dock. Is it HD this? No, it's SD. SD, yeah.